Good afternoon, I'm Denise Tan, and this is One News Now. Aside from PhilHealth and the Philippine Statistics Authority, 2 more government systems may have been targeted by hackers. A Facebook page called Diablock's Phantom Number 2 posted 25 links online, most of which belong to PSA. But 3 of the links contained information from the Department of Science and Technology and the Philippine National Police. The DOST said it has already reported the supposed leak, which revealed the names and email addresses of scientists. The agency believes no sensitive information was compromised. The Department of Information and Communications Technology is keeping track of the possible breaches. The DICT warned shady groups may be using outdated data from previous hacks to create more panic.
Unfortunately, most of the reports that come in turn out to be false. Kasi parang this might be an opportunity to also warn the public that, there are people taking advantage of the situation.
For its part, the PSA is also fortifying data security. It is not ruling out the possibility that the hacker could be one of their own.
Hindi po natin tinatanggal ang posibilidad na merong inside job. Although ang lumalabas po ngayon base sa mga post at information na natatanggap natin at naiimbestigahan natin na ito ay outside the staff and the employees of the PSA.
We're learning more about Filipino victims in the Israel-Hamas conflict. 2 of them were caregivers who refused to leave their patients even if it meant their death. Rainiel Pawid has this story.
Just after the Hamas launched its surprise attack on nearby towns in the border with Israel, this man posted on social media a photo of an Israeli couple together with their caregiver. According to the caption, which was written in Hebrew, the couple in the photo are the man's parents, Lilac and Terry Kipnis, who were both residing in Kibbutz Be'eri. The man appealed for information regarding his parents, who he said was in a safe house together with their caregiver Paul. As it turns out, Paul is an overseas Filipino worker, one of the 2 confirmed by the Philippine government to have been killed in the war. The victim was identified as Paul Castelvi from Pampanga. Deep sadness blanketed the home of the Castelvi family in San Fernando City, Pampanga, upon learning the loss of their family's breadwinner. Cherry, Paul's elder sister, is still distraught over the news.
Wala po siyang iniisip, puro kami lang po. Yung mga magulang namin, yung mga anak ko, wala po siyang ibang ginagawa kundi pasayahin po yung mga magulang namin.
The Castelvi family is now hoping for the immediate return of Paul's body. They are also hoping for the safe return of Paul's wife, who is in Tel Aviv.
Buntis po siya 8 months, manganganak po siya dapat next month para pagkatapos ng mga anak, dapat uuwi sila ng December para magbakasyon, para iuwi nga yung bata dito.
Dapat nakikita po niya yung anak niya, pero hindi na po mangyayari.
On Saturday, when the attacks began, Paul's wife told Cherry that Paul hid in a bomb shelter. But in the succeeding days, his phone was no longer reachable. Come Tuesday, the son of Paul's employer told Paul's wife that he has reason to believe his parents, along with Paul, had been abducted. And the following day, Paul's death has been confirmed. Aside from Paul, the city government of San Fernando, Pampanga set up a monitoring team to locate the remaining residents in the war-torn country. The local government unit identified more than 10 Fernandinos working in Israel, including Castelvi.
Nagpapamonitor kami ngayon kung ilan ba yung mga Fernandinos na nandun. So yun, ongoing din yung pagsasaliksik ng mga kung sino-sino. Sana wala na, no?
As for the second confirmed victim, the deputy mayor of Jerusalem, Fleur Hassan Nahum, identified her in a social media post as Angeline, who was caring for her elderly patient Nira when the attacks happened. In her caption, Hassan Nahum shared that Angeline, despite having a chance to flee the Hamas attacks, showed, quote, unbelievable humanity and loyalty by remaining in Nira's side during the violence, resulting in both of them being murdered by the Hamas. Angeline was from Pangasinan and had been a caregiver in Israel for 6 years. The Philippine Embassy in Tel Aviv vows for the immediate repatriation of the remains of the 2 Filipino casualties.
We have received a request for assistance po sa pagpapauwi ng dalawang nasawi At we are still coordinating with the authorities po sa pag-retrieve po ng body.
Meanwhile, President Bongbong Marcos said he has spoken to the victim's family over the phone last night, which he said was the most difficult call he had to make as a president. He said the nation is one in grieving with the victims' families, and he assured them that they will provide the utmost support. Rainiel Pawid, We Are One News.
The Department of Foreign Affairs has confirmed a third Filipino fatality amid the war between Israel and Hamas. DFA Undersecretary Eduardo De Vega said the victim was a 49-year-old woman from Negros Occidental. The victim's family had already been informed of her death. This brings the total Filipino fatalities in the Middle East conflict to 3. There are still 3 Filipinos unaccounted for, and the DFA is hopeful that they will turn up alive. We're pausing for a quick break. One News Now will be back with more stories after that. Stay with us. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Denise Tan. Aftershocks and damage are expected following the magnitude 5.2 earthquake in Calaca, Batangas this morning. The tremor also jolted Metro Manila. Over in Barangay Balisong in Taal, Batangas, CCTV footage caught the intense shaking during the earthquake. In the NCR, MRT operations were temporarily halted to make way for inspection at the North Avenue station. Students and workers in affected areas also had to evacuate their buildings in the aftermath of the quake. PHIVOLCS has yet to confirm whether the tremor is related to the recent activity in Taal Volcano. We now give you a quick look at today's other top stories. The NBI has issued a subpoena to Jeffrey Tumbado even as he has already recanted allegations of corruptions in the LTFRB. Tumbado was a former assistant to suspended LTFRB Chief Teofilo Guadis III. The DOJ said the anti-graft desk of the NBI will look into the case. Senate Minority Leader Coco Pimentel wants an investigation into Tumbado's earlier statements that eventually led up to recantation. The Sugar Regulatory Administration has suspended the release of imported sugar from warehouses. The SRA said this is until local harvest is over and prices have stabilized. As of now, sugar sells for an average of 110 pesos per kilo. The SRA suspects prices of the products are being manipulated. Pag-asa has declared the end of the southwest monsoon or habagat season. The State Weather Bureau said weather patterns are now shifting towards the northeast monsoon or amihan season. This signals the onset of colder weather associated with the holidays. Pag-asa noted though that the threat of El Nino will persist until early 2024. This is characterized by extreme changes in rainfall. Shifting now to sports, Gilas Pilipinas forward Justin Brownlee has tested positive for a banned substance fresh off the Asian Games. The International Testing Agency reported that the Cager sample had carboxy-THC. The substance is typically linked to cannabis use. The ITA said it was the China Anti-Doping Agency that collected Brownlee's sample on October 7. Brownlee has been informed of the result and was granted the right to request an analysis of the B samples. The 35-year-old forward, however, is part of the ITA's list of athletes who face provisional suspension or other sanctions for violating the anti-doping rule. Also on the list are Filipina cyclist Ariana Evangelista, who tested positive on September 23, and Sami Bizay of Jordan, who Gilas Pilipinas competed against in the gold medal match. Meantime, the Philippine Olympic Committee does not see the incident affecting Gilas' first place finish.
Base sa ADR is the anti-doping rules. It should be, kailangan na mag-positive more than 2 players. So, since siya lang naman ang positive on sample A, yung sample B, hindi pa nga natin alam. Baka negative doon or what, sana. So, hindi, for me, hindi affected yun. Pwede natin ilaban yun sa kung naapektuhan yung standing, yung gold. Atin pa rin ang gold.
One News Now will be back at 3:15 p.m. Join us again later. I'm Denise Tan. We are One News.